Bro. What's going on? What's happening? What it do? First, talk that stuff of the new year. Happy New Year's to everybody and everything. We've made it 2019. About to start it off. A great year. We got Talk That Stuff number 127 honing on on the 3-year Talk That Stuff anniversary coming up in April. How's everybody out there? I got the panel waiting. Let's meet the panel. Let's meet the panel. Up first from DC, ladies and gentlemen, the Glug Master himself. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome and salute Black Mav.
What's going on, good people? What's the word?
Up next, in North Carolina, he's at work right now. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Dap Dunlap.
Peace on the road. Peace.
Up next, from Maine, ladies and gentlemen, making his appearance on Talk That Stuff. Been a while, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, I Will, or now I.
Yeah, what's up, guys? What up, everybody?
Right. Up next, from Richmond, Virginia. Also been a while since he's been on. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome back Mr. Rich Gifted Hands.
What up, folks?
Up next, from Flint, Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Mr. Wallace, a.k.a. Where is Wallace?
Hey, if they pay $5 billion for that wall, just keep in mind that Flint don't still have clean water, man.
Hey, talk to him, Wallace. Talk to him.
I'm saying,
it's fucked up.
Just keep that in mind.
No doubt. What up, Rec? Up next, from Oakland, California, West Coast, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for RTOP.
What's up?
Up next, from Saginaw, Michigan, home of the Saginaw Afterburners, ladies and gentlemen, she's blessed. Oh yeah, she's blessed. No, she's that blessed girl.
Peace.
And I am from Jersey, now in Florida. I am DJ WIDEBODY, and this is Talk That Stuff number 127, the first one of the year on January the 6th, 2019. Happy New Year's. Let's get it. Let's go. What's happening? What's happening? What it do? What it is? What it be? How's it going?
You doing football?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna get on the football real quick and we're gonna be done. Shout out to the chat. DJ Rec. Hello, Mom. My mom as well, always tuning in. Throwing the symbols up there, Mom. Say hi, son, or something. You got the angel symbols and the hi. Oh, I guess you did say hi. Well, what's going on, everybody in chat? We're gonna go ahead and get into footballs real quick, real painless. Let's get it. Let's go. Hey, what's going on? Once again, NFL stats and scores as we start the playoffs this year, 2018 playoffs, 2019 / first game on the docket. We have the Indianapolis Colts going down to Houston to take on the Texans. The Colts have been the most hottest team in the last month. They started the season 1-5, and now they find themselves in the quarterfinals. They won the wild card. They beat the Texans, scored 21-7. Shout out to the Indianapolis Colts. Moving along in Dallas. It was a good game. The Dallas, Sierra, Russell Wilson coming to town. The Dallas Cowboys edged the Seattle Seahawks, scored 24-22. Seahawks had a chance to take it at the end. They came up short. Seahawks caught fire late. Shout out to the Cowboys. They moved along to the next round. Next game on the docket in Baltimore. It was the Ravens at home taking on the red-hot Los Angeles Chargers. This was a good game. I was actually on earlier doing a live stream on not this game, the other game. Actually, no, it was the other game. Never mind. But the Ravens came up short. They had 3 points going into the fourth quarter. They hurried up Crabtree with 2 touchdowns in the fourth. They came up short. Lamar Jackson had a fumble, tried to throw the ball, but the Chargers beat the Ravens, scored 23-17. The Chargers move on to the next round. Moving along, and this one was a good one, all the way down to a kick that hit the goalpost. The Chicago Bears in Soldier Field, taking on the red-hot Eagles. Nick Foles in for the injured Carson Wentz, and the Eagles edge the Bears 16-15. The Eagles score when there's 1 minute remaining on the clock. Foles goes for the 2-point conversion to make it 3. The Eagles missed that. Chicago had a 35-yard pass. They in field goal range, and the field goal kicker got iced at the end. He hits the goalpost on the second try, and the Bears go out just like that. Eagles on top of the Bears, 16-15. Shout out to them. Next week, got the Dallas Cowboys going against the Eagles, the LA Chargers against the Chiefs. No, I'm sorry, the LA Chargers against the, I forget. Anyways, but check it out next week, goddammit. This is the Talk That Stuff, scores and stats. And that will be it. Hey,
You talking about the Chargers versus New England next week?
Chargers, New England. Yes, right. Chargers, New England, Chiefs, Colts, Dallas, Eagles, and Saints, and I forget who, and the Saints and the Cowboys.
Dallas and Eagles next week? That's going to be pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's a divisional game for real.
Yep. All right, man. The Bears had it, man. Dude has been hitting the goalposts all year, though. They went back and played.
And what's that? That's their third one this year? Their third game this year for Dallas and the Eagles, right?
It's the Eagles Saints. It's the Eagles Saints. I just looked it up tonight.
Eagles Saints. I stand corrected. The dude hit the goalpost. Right. The kicker hit the goalpost all year long.
Oh, he clang-lang that bitch.
He ain't no job. He had the first one in 48. Was it 48 yards or some shit?
This fucking off season was immediate.
Yep. Vince, I got a little bit of cold there. What's going on? Happy New Year's, everybody. Good to see everybody here. Good health and good spirits, man. Welcome everybody here. Rich Gifted Hands. Black Mav, I will. Oh, Dingerhurst, what's going on, brother?
What's up?
Happy New Year's to you, man.
Damn, I gotta go back to last year.
Man, Lamar Jackson surprised the hell out of me this year.
Yeah, he's got heart, man. He got my vote.
Mm-hmm.
Flacco needs to find another team.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, he got heart, but what was I saw that hair on the replay, ESPN.
Need an ultra perm.
Yeah. He got the damn Mitch Green.
Right. Hey, Wallace, you there?
Let me get that. He went to the barber. Let me get that finger in the socket. Say no more,
Right.
man.
He probably
Yeah, I'm right here, yo. I'm here.
Hey, so we got everything. We got people here. We got one last final bracket to do. It'll take about 20 minutes.
What bracket is that?
The last and final bracket.
Oh, this should be quick. It's like the Super
Which
Bowl,
bracket
right?
is it?
The regional one. Are we gonna do all regional? Or you guys think one is
We're
leave
gonna-
it?
We did all the regions. Then we did Midwest, South, New York, East Coast, West
Okay.
Coast. We did all of them, right?
I thought you want to put them in a big ass super bracket. Okay,
It should be 5.
Oh, it's up to you. It's your show, no doubt.
it's all good.
No doubt. If that's what you
know
want to do.
That's just gonna be subjective.
I do want to talk about.
I do, and me too, man. Let you go first. I do want to talk about. I watched Trump and Pelosi and Schumer go at it, and I want to talk a little bit about that, man. Too. I'll wait. I'll go after you.
Oh God. Did you hear? Did you hear about old girl from the D calling out saying that we was gonna impeach the motherfucker? You ain't see that?
Nuh-uh. What's going on?
So it's a new state rep from the D, and she was talking. She had like a little get together for her for winning for being put into office. And she told the constituents, she was like, I told my son we're gonna impeach that motherfucker. Just said it straight like that. And it's people on the right who are like, how could she say that?
Man.
She's disrespectful to her family and her country for saying that.
What up?
And she like, shit, that's how we talk. So keep it moving.
Really?
When they were saying they was going to impeach Clinton, they wasn't holding their tongue. He was the first son of a bitch that ever walked on the earth. People
Right.
this
With Nixon.
Right. Now I watched that Schumer shit. And I'm a day late and a dollar short, but Trump is a real piece of work, man. Like he let his emotions get in front of business, man. Like they don't want the government shut out. Fuck that wall.
But that's the funny thing. Didn't they say that's what they were fearing from a woman president, that would be the thing?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I ain't even saying it to make it, that type of party, but it's just funny, like how bitch made he is, a lot of stuff, and just doing stuff like, on some little brother shit. It's like, you tell somebody sit down, no, you sit down. You know what I'm saying? Like he on some, I know you are, but what about it?
Right.
So the fact that he's in office.
You got that right.
How many people going to work for free right now? People going to work for free right now. Just what am I hearing this correctly? People are off the books, man. I mean, off the clock. How can
you got like shade tree mechanics working for him type shit?
Man.
Let me say this. It's one thing for you got TSA people who are calling in sick and shit, but it's one thing now, but wait until these GA checks don't hit on February 1st. Then it's gonna be some shit.
Right.
Just don't do no shit while I need everybody, whoever's doing some essential shit, I need y'all to report. I need my shit to be safe. Don't fuck around and have Joe Roth rock and shit, landing no plane while I'm on it.
Yeah.
Somebody ain't want to come to work. I ain't trying to run into none of that goofy shit. For real.
Hey, like I've always said, I'm not a far left Democrat or a far right Republicans. There's a lot of views left that I don't agree with, but I mean, they got to be some kind of compromise here. With that man, there ain't no compromise. Like you can't tell me.
Hey, what's over there?
You can't tell me a wall is the reason why we have a government shutdown. You can't convince me.
Well, it is because of the wall, but it's more. I mean, technically speaking, but it's more so because the president is petulant, dog. He's childlike, so he's like, I hold this power.
Yep.
I'm not going to do anything until you give me what I want, and fuck whatever the negative that come from it. I'm gonna blame them because it's their fault. They won't do what I'm telling them to do, and I'm the president.
Yeah.
So if this shit continues to develop, he feels like he's justified in being able to say it's the Democrats' fault. They won't agree to what I'm saying, this, that, and the third, as opposed to saying I'm the leader. So if people are suffering, or people are not being productive, or people are being harmed, whether it's their fault or not, it's still my fault. That's what he doesn't see. And so what's happening is, so when you juxtapose this ignorant shit that he doing against this young Congress, you know, the ACO lady, the Rashida Tlaib saying we're gonna impeach the motherfucker.
Yeah.
I mean, these motherfuckers are purely evident of how this mindset is changing, dude, because all that old pristine, we gotta respect the president shit, this, that, and the third, that shit went out the door when this motherfucker got elected.
Right.
Straight up.
Right. Way he's running this shit, I think a good leader got to be able to compromise. That's a dictator that we got sitting up there, man.
It was down there on the way out when Obama was in office. They was trying to disrespect the hell out of Obama. You know what I'm saying?
Trying, they did.
But
they disrespect the fuck out of him.
No, but my whole thing is he still had a certain amount of decorum to deal with shit.
Hell
yeah, he did.
You know, Trump be on some cat fighting bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
all of the ratchet shit where everybody had their jokes and comedians had their jokes and everybody had their names about watermelon and chicken. It's Trump doing all this shit. Obama ain't never jump out there because he played basketball. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Versus I know you are.
Obama had the grace. He had the grace of a statesman.
Yeah.
You know, he had the grace of a leader, of a person who understood that everything that he did had a certain level of gravity to it.
But you know, that shit was compounded too because you know, the fact that he was black couldn't come.
Yeah, but even back at a Bill Clinton and even a George H.W. Bush, they had that grace. They had a presidential stature.
Yep.
You know, as much as I disagree with George Bush and disagree with some of the things Bill Clinton did, they acted like statesmen. Yep. This motherfucker act like a child, bro.
Well,
me sometimes.
He's got no dignity whatsoever. That's for sure.
You don't want to grow up because he's a Toys R Us kid. Real. Like he's
I really think he thought he was point for what he wanted and it was going to happen. I think that's what he thought the presidency was going to be.
A lot more shit going on than, look, this is my idea, and I've had this idea for a while. I even had this idea when I got out the military and I went to the National Guards. Because every summer you do a 2-week AT, man. You go sit, man. In our case, we go to Fort Drum and do a 2-week AT. Why not take those troops and all these guard units that are just sitting idle, instead of doing a 2 weeks somewhere playing stupid ass war games, take those people and take them down to the borders and do border patrol for 2 weeks. A wall is not going to stop terrorists coming in. Motherfuckers go over walls. You know what I'm saying? There's people in Flint, Michigan with still bad drinking water, man. There's other shit.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Look. But think about it like this. The money that has been raised by my man with the GoFundMe. It's like 17 million now, where he was raising money for the wall or whatever. That's enough to fix the problem.
Wow.
But they can't find it.
That shit's is crazy. I can't believe. I thought that should have been a 2-week thing, man. This happened. My first show, when I first did talk that stuff, we were talking about the Flint water crisis, man. That's almost 3 years ago.
There's a major difference though between the two issues. That's you've got a dude that has all of the power of all the old white men in our country. All the old white men back this guy. So all the old white men, if they cared about Flint, Michigan, you'd have your money to fix that too. But they don't care. They want to follow this guy.
If there's any Cheney's, any corruption, maybe to get a company to contract them to go fix that water problem and they get some kickback, I don't give a fuck. Let's fix the water, man. At this point, it's all fucking most of the shit's corrupted anyway. Let's get some corruption in that water system, man, and let's get that shit fixed, man. That's crazy, man.
Detroit water messed up too?
What? Huh?
It's schools that have complained about having lead in their water. It's not
crazy, man. That's crazy.
Imagine if he fixed it, like the image, he would help himself rebuild by fixing that shit.
I think this man's gonna go down in a ball of smoke, man. I don't think he cares about being reelected. He must do something, man. I mean, shit, we all can benefit. You can look good, and you can get the problem fixed. It's a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wins. But I don't know, man. I don't know what this man's thinking. I can't believe that there's still problems like that in this country, in the drinking water, man. In this rich ass, foreign aid giving ass country. Come on, man.
Hey, Wallace, can I ask you a question, Wallace? What somebody like me do to help out, or anybody that's listening or watching the show?
Hold on for me. I'll be right there.
What can we do? Is there somewhere? Okay. That's something that I'd like to know. How far Detroit is from Flint, but
check this out.
I'll be there next week, and I'd buy some.
We'll grab a shovel, man, and just head northward, man. It's crazy. Some of the major recipients of U.S. foreign aid include Israel. They give Israel $3 billion, Afghanistan $2.3 billion, Pakistan $2.1 billion. Like that's not even half of the foreign aid that this country gives out. I don't care about budgets. I don't care about that. That has no meaning to me, man. You can't tell me that. I don't know. Anybody you guys has thoughts on this shit, man? Anybody have anything on this?
To me, it lets you know if they do it there.
It's going to the wrong places, I think.
Hello again. I'm curious.
That's what that means to me.
Yeah.
I see Flint. That ain't no different from that being any area here where I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Mitchell, I think Mitchell told us something that happened back in the 80s. He was growing up in Philly and he wound up bombing like a whole block or whatever. People in the houses and it burned up or whatever.
Yeah.
It could be any one of us. You know what I'm saying? But every time you see people just on some regular, just I see you in the street, you look me in the face. You ain't gotta know me, but you look me in my face and look at me and don't speak and keep walking. That could very well be you, or your mother in that house, or your sister, your you know what I'm saying? Your family members or whatever. And it's like people need to start paying attention to what's really important. But shit about to shake up for real, where you ain't gonna have no choice.
All right.
The main ones that's walking around and be locking their doors and rolling their windows up, they're gonna be the ones that's panhandling and they ain't got no etiquette. Motherfuckers skydiving and shit with no net at the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I personally feel like
this country's
history
crazy.
is repeating itself because of what people don't know. All of this shit in the 20s, if you look back in history, when everything crashed in 29, the skyscrapers and everything going up, they're doing the same thing again. There's going to just be buildings for people to jump off and they ain't finished yet. I hate to put it that way, but people don't understand that now. And even when we saying that, somebody can go back and watch it, and they'll still be an asshole. The way you are. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Straight up.
I just try to treat people.
So Will.
Like I want to be treated.
I'm sorry, Black. I'm sorry.
Matt was talking.
What I was going to say was, Will, I think the best thing that you can do is identify charities in Flint that are supporting people through it. I mean, you can write a letter to your congressman and shit, but come on. But the people who need the most support, the most support are the people who are on the ground level, who are actually supporting people through it. And I mean, even looking at things that's happening in the school system, because this whole process has had a very, physiologically fucked up effect, but a very traumatic effect on kids too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, consider what it feels like if you are relatively understanding of what's happening.
Trash.
And you believe that, you know that you have a problem that people are responsible for addressing, and they choose not to do it. What level of trust do you maintain about those people? This is why people don't believe in, people who are middle class and up or otherwise. They don't understand why people who live in poverty not only deal with the struggle of living in poverty, but they have no, in some cases, they have no interest in trying to live in a middle class lifestyle because they feel like people don't give a fuck. And this is proof positive of that.
Yep. Let me ask this: what percentage of people in Flint at this time have fucked up drinking water?
75.
Jesus Christ.
God damn.
75.
That shit just gets me.
And they make and you know what? You can fact check me, but I know that they're going door to door changing people's pipes. I know they're doing that.
I mean, the motherfucker called state of emergency for everything else. I mean, that's, to me, that's the state of an emergency, man. That's the real state of emergency.
Without question.
Your motherfucker. I mean, I kind of feel as every man for himself. I feel the government. I can't trust the government. I can't expect anything from the government. I gotta keep my blinders on up, man. I can't. You know, I could be drinking fucked up water, man. I got well water out here, but who knows? The well water might be goddamn got some nickel and shit going through. I don't fucking know. You know, ain't nobody looking out for us, man. No one's looking out for us. They're reactive. They're not proactive. Being proactive means that shit like that don't happen. It's less reacting to shit's going down when crises management, motherfuckers. I know people like that. They don't like to change the oil in the car. They like to deal with it when the motherfucker's about to seize up on them. Now all of a sudden they want to try to fix some shit, which wastes time and has catastrophic damage. You know what I'm saying?
But I think also, it really comes down to allocation of resources, dude. You know, I mean, definitely. What are people, you know, how are state and local governments spending their money? Yep. You know, and as a government, I mean, nationally speaking, the infrastructure in the United States is crumbling. A lot of the infrastructure was built as a result of the Great Depression and after World War II, in that the cities were expanding, they were building the interstate system, this, that, and the third, you know, suburban communities were kind of taking off and getting bigger and this, that, and the third. Those things have largely been untouched since that time. Right. But when you consider how much money is being spent maintaining our military, how much of those dollars could be allocated towards federal grants that fix some of those problems before they really become? You're going to start seeing, watch, the next 10 years, you're going to start seeing a lot more stories about big-ass sinkholes in people's cities. Bridges failing and collapsing, power grids falling apart.
But remember, Obama tried to help with that. Nate, they was pushing him left. He tried to do all of that when he first came in. Wanted to work on infrastructure and all of that.
But there are people who are profiteering off certain things that.
Yeah, there's a layer of corruption.
Don't work the same. I'll just say this from a very simplistic standpoint. I don't understand how the science community, which has been able to prove and disprove and create and support human civilization for the last 400 years, Western science, right? How all of a sudden you are going to deny the fact that they believe that it's a direct result of what we are doing that is affecting the climate. You are disregarding what they are saying.
They're afraid of losing their funding.
Exactly. They're afraid of losing opportunities to profit in the manner in which they've been profiting.
Yep. Definitely a layer of corruption underneath a lot of shit. I've always said this. I wouldn't mind the way, you know, the municipality, it'll be all a bunch of municipalities, but on that same token, you have things that maybe that'll occur, like say a Texas trial when they try to get their own independence and things. But I think when you have it on that level, you're more able to isolate problems and situations. Then when we have federal shit coming in, and I don't know the whole infrastructure of it, but I understand that every year, fiscal year, money comes in to a certain government, whether it be state, local, you know, and they allocate them as you know, whoever's been voted in or given the task of doing that shit. And I just feel that there's a layer of corruption underneath all that, so it won't change. They got it set up to where Like that dude said in Independence Day, got a $3,000 hammer over here. You know what I'm saying? $2,000 nail. Come on, man. Shit going.
That's real.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
That's
a
real.
perfect example of that is that documentary Flint Town on
Yeah,
Netflix.
yeah, yeah. But it comes down to property taxes too. I mean, Flint is a deep dive, dude. Like we could talk about what happened in Flint the rest of the night,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But so much of it has to do with how you had the industrial sector left, and then post-industrialism came and took over in terms of what do you now do with a workforce that is largely non-educated and truthfully largely non-skilled? Because
Yeah,
you could come out of high school, you could get a high school diploma and go work in a plant. What do
yeah,
you do with that population?
man,
The lot in the city leaves. What happens to the city? That
man.
happened. So that happened in the 80s. You had this large uptick in crime. You had drugs. You had this. You had that. Property values went
Poverty.
down. Tax revenues went down. You
Yep.
don't have the ability to provide these services. Then, you know what I'm saying? You know, then you have the state come in and say, okay, we're going to put an emergency manager in there, which basically meant the state was going to come in and take over ownership of everything that was valuable.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? And then the state will have the opportunity to either profiteer from it or to sell it to the highest bidder.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they did.
And I
Just
watched.
think about it like this. Just think about it like this. In the late 80s, early 90s, I went to a magnet school that was co-funded by GM. So when GM left, how was they going to fund that school? There's an engineering university up there called GMI. And it was basically General Motors funding an engineering university in Flint. When GM
Wow.
left, they sold the shit, and it became Kettering University.
Wow. So there you go. There's some
Yeah,
infrastructure there. There's manufacturing companies trying to basically get to strengthen their manufacturing by grabbing the community and bringing them into the fold, educating them on how to come in here and learn about everything GM has to offer, funding the money for it. And what happens is, like, I've been alive for this outsourcing fucking bang that happened. I say like mid to late 90s, all the manufacturers off and went overseas and shit. You know, it wasn't really not a lot of American made shit anymore, man. You got steel mills, Honesdale Steel, that closing down, employed half the goddamn the mid Pennsylvania area. That shit closed down and everything's outsourced now because, you know, it's cheaper to go have people working sweatshops making goddamn larva balls and shit, man, and sending them back and making like triple what you would have made if you had it made over here. You know
That was Bill Clinton and that NAFTA Act for you.
Yeah.
but here's the thing to consider. Here's the thing to consider. If let's say you had a big enough yard where you didn't cut your own grass, right? And you had a homeboy that come and cut your grass for $30, right?
Uh-huh.
But then you got somebody else who cut all the neighbors' yards around you, but they only cut it for 20. You got a decision to make.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, all I'm saying is you have to be able to leave an imprint in a place that allows people to, I mean, corporations don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. Like, that's taught in business. Like, that's taught in business education.
Yeah.
It's capitalism, free market.
You have to separate personal decisions from emotional ones. Because at the end of the day, it's not your job to fix society.
No.
And many Republicans feel it's not government's job to govern what really happens in society. It's a free market system where if you have money, you have the ability to govern your community. But when you don't have money and other people are coming in, getting money, and they're leaving, you lose control of your community. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say that I understand why General Motors is doing what they're doing. I understand why they close plants and ship them down. I understand from a business perspective, but the unfortunate truth, I mean, oh my God, dude, when you think about what Amazon did, Amazon's so grimy. You know what Amazon did? They put out that contest and said, pitch us on what you will give us to come and set up a headquarters in your town. And what they did was they had all of them do that, and they used it as bargaining chips against New York and Washington, D.C., who they ended up going with. But they said, well, you know, Nashville offered us this much. Those companies, Amazon ain't got to pay no taxes. How long is it? I wonder how long it's going to be before Amazon has to pay taxes.
Wow.
Tax incentives and stuff on the land and this, that. Man, it's grimy beyond comprehension.
I feel that corporations have can't think with emotions, but I think when corporations get to a certain status, they have not only a corporate obligation, but they also have a moral obligation to where you're part of this economy. You're responsible for people paying their bills and taking care of their families, man. I think that shit. I mean, it's sad. It's like that. But you know, company like General Motors does more than just make fucking cars. You went to a magnet school funded by them. There's a lot more at stake now. Now you're part of the, I don't know the word I'm looking for, man. But I just think when you get to a certain status, man, it's all about Walmart too, man. It's like, you know, the business is. I know business is crazy, man. You know, it's strictly business. I get that, man. But
here's the pushback. Who governs that? Like, who says? You know what I'm saying? If we're competing over Amazon building a headquarters in our city, and my city says Amazon, in order to come to our city, they have to allocate a certain amount of money to do this or do that in the community. And the other people ain't. They're like, fuck that shit. I ain't doing that shit. Now, mind you, the things that they do are tax write-offs. So when GM was running that magnet school, it was a tax write-off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why these companies and people with money, why they give away so much money. Because it's a tax write-off.
Yep. I want to make an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to Talk That Stuff. It's been a while. Happy New Year to the man. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Malik X, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Malik?
Hey, what's up? Peace to the panel. Peace and blessings. What's up, Widebody? Yeah, it's been a while.
Hold on, man. How you doing?
I'm all right. You know, just working a lot. Peace to rest of the brothers.
All right.
It's been a while since I'm a man, black
piece
man.
Of what? Your piece of what?
I said peace and blessings.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's good. No doubt.
Black man. My man, RTO. What's up, man?
Is BG here?
Yeah, and sister, that blessed girl.
Can we switch gears? Why, buddy?
Come on, let's go, man.
I think this is what I wanted to talk about tonight. I wanted to talk about the R. Kelly situation from a different perspective.
Okay.
Now, I want to know how, and I don't want to put you on the spot, BG, but I want to know how you are interpreting, as a young woman, how you are interpreting not only the fact that this is being discussed, but how you're interpreting people who are saying, I'm not going to stop listening to his music. People are saying all kinds of reckless shit online. And I wanted to hear from her because I'm interested to hear her perspective on all that.
I'm trying to get BG now. She's on mute. I just IM'd her, but that's a good discussion, man.
Piggyback on that. What is Drake? Did Drake do something similar?
No. I think that you have these outrageous moments and people try to create false equivalences. You know what I'm saying?
I was curious what she thought.
Supposedly he had somebody on stage or something and he may have inappropriately touched or whatever. That in comparison, if that is how it happened, I haven't seen it or whatever, but if that is how it happened, that pales in comparison to somebody who is actively imprisoning females.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And sexualizing young girls. Come on now.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%.
That's what I put on Facebook earlier. I said, beware of flying false equivalencies, dog. People ought to be like, what about? Well, what about? Why haven't they done? a special on Harvey Weinstein. They did one. You just didn't see that, mommy. You wasn't watching it. You didn't want to see that.
Weinstein didn't make feeling on your booty.
He showed right.
That promotion ain't that heavy either.
Right.
Yeah, potentially.
If you don't think there's
but the one thing about black folks, in our age bracket, those of us between like 30 and 45, 30 and 49, we all do the same shit. We all principally do the same shit. When Black Panther came out, it was all of us that was dressing up to go see Black Panther.
Right. Hey, BG's
you
back.
Know what I'm saying?
BG's back.
I don't hear it. Nah, BG's still on mute.
She just came off mute. BG. He just came off mute.
Stay tuned for scenes from our next episode.
Yeah, I don't. So that was my only thing. I wanted to ask her about that because how we feel about it is one thing, but what does this whole thing say to her as a young woman?
Yeah, I would like to hear that too.
You know what I'm
saying? Maybe we'll get it next week.
Right.
Hey, WIDEBODY.
Yeah.
I like to weigh in on the R. Kelly thing. The repeats are on now. But from what I've heard at work, this is what I heard a month ago in the barbershop. Bobby told me that R. Kelly was paying all those girls' mothers off. You know, they had them girls there, and they were paying the girls too, which is to me, you know, kind of sick. You know, and even though all this is coming out now in the public eye, the mothers of these girls still took money from R. Kelly. I mean, okay, you take his money, then all of a sudden there's a show coming out now, Surviving R. Kelly. I'm not saying it's fake or anything, but you know, all this is after he didn't pay them off. I mean, you know.
I always said it was money driven. A lot of blind eye was turned. I don't think that they thought that he was going to be molesting their kids, but yeah, man, you know, I don't know. I wasn't there, but it just seems that way to me, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was true.
I'm trying to understand what you're saying, Malik. Are you saying that there was some like they're telling these stories under like false pretense, even though they did profit from it?
I mean, that's the contradictory. I mean, if you're gonna do a show, and I'm pretty sure all them girls who did his interviews for the show are getting paid, they were getting paid by R. Kelly at the same time too back then. And the thing is, I believe the mothers knew what was going on, but they took the money anyway. It's all about the dollars. That's a problem in this world. You know, you're exploiting your own daughters for profit. You know, for financial gain. Now, you gonna take his money.
I mean,
don't do a show. Don't do a show, Dog Man, when you already took his paychecks or his money. You know what I mean?
Well, this is what I
mean. I don't condone what he did. I don't condone it. I don't condone in no way, shape, or form what he did. But I don't condone the mothers for taking money. I mean, like I said, this is what Barbara told me. I don't know if it's half of it's true.
But,
you know.
but and let's say that that's true. But doesn't that R. Kelly is still at the center of the wrong there? Because
of course,
females. I mean, this nigga was running a criminal enterprise where he was kidnapping women and then potentially paying off parents to stop them from doing things about it. Now, mind you, morally speaking, it kind of makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense that you would confront it and this, that, and the third, and attack it and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, what if you from a broken home? You know what I'm saying? How many of these little girls, and I haven't seen 5 and 6, how many of these little girls had the capacity or had the infrastructure at home to be able to say, a man took advantage of you and he gave me $100,000 to not sue him or not do something about it? How many of them may not have had the infrastructure to do it, to turn that down? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, that's another thing. See, a lot of these girls come from these broken homes, and I guess they have the testicular fortitude to endure this for the money. It's like they were sacrificing.
Listen, I just feel like it's important to allow them. I mean, if it was anything else, there would be no question about the legitimacy of their claims, in my opinion. Nobody would question their claims as being legitimate. And I'm not saying you're saying that she's. I'm not saying that you're saying that she's lying. That any of the girls are lying. But regardless if they got paid or not, this nigga is kidnapping and raping females, dog.
Point blank. Period.
But the flip side of that though.
He's an R&B superstar. Why would he need to kidnap women? I mean, he probably had groupies anyway. I mean, why would he need to kidnap women to do that?
Because that was part of the that was part of the pleasure. That was part of the that has to be part of the pleasure for him.
But
this dude still to this day got 25, 30-year-old females that'll break him off as though it's nothing. But that's not what he wanted. When you can have whatever you want, you get what you want, and that's what he wanted.
Go ahead.
But the flip side of that too is how long ago has it been since the trial that he had a couple years ago? How long has it been?
Shit, 05, 06 maybe.
It's been a while.
Okay, it's been that long, right? So true enough, he didn't face any time after that because it was I guess it was a hung jury or whatever the case may be. You've had 10 plus years. The state of Illinois, people they've had this much time to unpack this or to go in depth about this dude's misdeeds. And like I said, like somebody said earlier, I'm not waving the pro flag for R. Kelly, but like with a lot of these cases, people, it's like that's what I was talking about the other night about how the new movement now is retro in everything from a certain point in time and bringing it back to relevancy today. So 10 plus years ago, you knew this about this man. It's well documented. It's been going on for a while, but nobody was willing to unpack it until now. So we've had 10 years of R. Kelly. We've had other instances with people of rock and roll stature, hip hop stature, R&B stature that have done it not as egregious as he may have allegedly have done it. Because we had to say allegedly because we don't have any proof to substantiate any of these claims, right? Because at one point in time, like you were saying, one point in time, everybody was getting kickbacks from it, and at the end of the day, home or not, it all goes back to the parents or guardianship who have guardianship of these kids. As talented as my daughter is, you can believe that in anywhere she go, I'm gonna be right there with her because that's my responsibility. That's my daughter. I care more about her her being alive and being safe than I care about her being famous or reaching some goal. You know what I'm saying? So those things are important to me as a parent. And like I said, now you have a movement to kind of help with the unmasking of these things. So did you have that kind of support then, 10 plus years ago? Maybe, but not to the point where it is now. It's onward march now with between the Me Too movement and every other hashtag you could think of. Now it's starting to get unpacked in a way that it's getting unpacked in an alarming rate. Somebody who I never thought I would see anything about in terms of something egregious like that is AJ Calloway. When I heard that, I was like, who?
What?
That dude? Yes.
For real?
Yes. He's being brought up on.
I heard about stuff with Free at one point, but like you said,
they saying
it was what it was, and they kind of just let it be, and he left 106. But
by no means
funny,
right?
Go ahead.
But no means I'm not in hearing me say all these things. I am, like I said again, I'm not defending R. Kelly. I haven't listened to R. Kelly since the piss tape. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is that we have it's a platform now to unpack all this stuff. Like 5 years ago, nobody was even talking about this shit about R. Kelly.
Right.
Why? You know what I'm saying? So now
that's what's getting me. Like, why is it fucking
right now?
But like I said Friday, and we was talking about it privately in the chat. You got a movement now that is stronger. That is stronger now than anything that we've ever witnessed before when it comes to holding powerful men who do things like this accountable, or or putting that microscope on them. You know what I'm saying? You know, Bill Cosby was one of the greatest examples of black life ever. But look what the shit he was doing. You know, whether consensual or not, they still had an axe to grind. You know, it's other political moves behind that, but I ain't gonna get into that shit.
Very much so.
Yeah, it's a lot of political shit because, like I said, these are things that people have known for decades. But like I said, now you have a movement. You have the feminist movement, along with all the other hashtags and movements that are now they have more power than anything that you ever witnessed before now. And so I'm not like I said, I'm not holding the torch for R. Kelly, but these are things that the concerned quote unquote public should have been dealing with when that tape came out almost a decade ago. You know,
so you believe that the R. Kelly situation is basically fake outrage?
Of course.
No.
Just because
I wouldn't say fake outrage for the people.
The only reason that it's at the volume that it's at now is because the conversation is happening in the frame. I mean, during the whole Me Too movement,
most definitely,
social media and all that stuff.
How many? Think about it this way, Wallace. You see how you brought up Flint earlier, and you was at a fever pitch. I bet you could bring up Flint to the average person now, and they won't really have
shit to say about it.
Yeah, they won't have nothing to say about it, and it don't bother them.
But here's why, though. Here's why. The majority of people don't have a connection to that. They don't have a connection.
But to a degree, you ain't. I mean, to a degree, most people ain't got a connection to being pissed on, no matter how old they are.
No, but they do.
Hold on. I'm not saying that
that's not true. That's not true. They don't have it, but they do have a connection to young girls.
Yeah,
we all
understand what I'm saying.
We all do.
But exactly.
But my whole thing is when the machine wants to kick on, they'll find out what pulls at your heartstrings, and whatever it is that you can get a large crowd with, I can occupy you with this. And now I can do whatever, because for real, for as many other things, look at it when it comes to somebody else, you know, white or whatever, with something like that. And you can't even just say white, because stuff happens amongst other nationalities as well, and it's handled discreetly. Anything for us, it's going to be aired out, and you're going to make sure it's known in the public, like, hey, let me make sure I continue to let you know where you at. I can air you out whenever I feel like it. When other people get, you know, Weinstein to go to trial, Kevin Spacey, all of this, but it ain't getting all of this extra hoopla, and you know what I'm saying? And so many people weighing in.
And that's what I
always look at. And I'm not saying that to uphold anybody in no wrongdoing. And a lot of times people try to use that card, be like, oh well, you playing that card, but it's like, man, just common sense. Like, if you paying attention, look at how this shit playing out, and look at how other stuff play out, and tell me different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell me different, I'll shut up. But I ain't gonna be the person in the room just because it's convenient and be like, oh yeah, that's cool, even though I see the fuckery. Come on now.
What are you talking about?
Indeed. So like, and that's what I was saying about how everything is playing out. Like, if you look at it, you know, all these claims that people are substantiating now is getting that extra magnification because of what is wrapped in. That doesn't take away the importance of it or the issue at hand. It's just that the magnification of it. Like I said,
I disagree. I disagree. Like I said earlier, we tend to all discuss the same things at the same time. This may not even be a conversation that's happening outside of our demographic like that. It may not. It's just that we all have those conversations together online.
But you know
what I'm saying?
You know the last time I thought about R. Kelly? Last time I thought about R. Kelly was probably the Dave Chappelle skit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
I mean,
but like right now,
Y'all didn't think about when he had them claims last year, a couple years ago, when they said he was kidnapping them girls.
That too. So again, the Me Too movement. What's this? 2019 now, right? So let's say the last 3 years. So those claims probably came out 3 years ago, maybe, or 2 years ago, maybe. Anyhow, like I said, this is not to uphold anybody in their wrongdoings, but look at it from the standpoint of what is wrapped in and what is rooted in today. That's not to desecrate the legitimacy of it. Is you have to step outside the box and see what it was and unpack it for what it really is. That's not saying that he ain't egregious. I'm saying the magnification of it. That's just like
ain't no statute of limitations,
right? So right, so like Harvey Weinstein, for example.
Depending on who it is.
I watch the news every morning with my wife, and I don't even like the news. I don't even see the purpose of the news, but I watch with my wife, and I watch how all this stuff unfolded with Weinstein. You know what I'm saying? I was looking like, you know what? At some point in time, every woman that's accusing this man knew what this man was about on the giddy up. I said, but what happened was he promised him something and didn't make good on a promise because you have the power to say no. In that instance, you got the power to say no. And we're not talking about 12-year-old. We're talking about consenting adults. They're like, okay, well, he gonna do this for me, so I go ahead and give him a hand job, or I'll do this, that, and the third. So like now, if you don't get compensated for something that you was promised, quote unquote. Now, okay, well, he inappropriately did this to me, baby. You had the right to say no. You had the right to make no, and that's not saying that I'm not, like I said, I'm not upholding that, but I'm just saying.
No,
at some point, people got to start, taking responsibility. Like with these girls in R. Kelly's case, with what he allegedly did to them, you have parents that are pushing off their kids, man, on people who are celebrities. You're sacrificing your kid for your.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think anybody is necessarily taking away blame from them. I mean, if they had chosen to attack the parents and chosen to go after them, I don't think that they would be wrong for that.
But that's not what it started. It started with the individual. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the first thing, like it's a guy on social media right now that was doing backflips and shit with the pink boots.
Yeah.
And I jokingly asked my partner one day. I said, "Man, I only got one question, bro. Where is his daddy? Where is his daddy?" So, because at the end of the day, it's all about, for me, it's about accountability. Like when I'm seeing all this stuff, because my wife was watching this, and I'm like, man, you know what? I wonder where they parents were at. Matter of fact, even with the Sparkle situation, like her in that trial we got nixed because, quite honestly, somebody got paid.
Oh, because the dad was the bass player for R. Kelly, so.
You see what I'm saying? So like and like I said, these people are sacrificing. In this instance, people are sacrificing their kids for whatever reason. Because I can tell you right now, my 12-year-old, 13-year-old daughter to my dad, I want to, R. Kelly offer me. Matter of fact, we're gonna go see R. Kelly. Me and her and my 2 handguns, we're gonna go see R. Kelly.
The parents saying, "Oh, I thought he could help my daughter's career, but she's 12 years old, and this man, all he does is sing about sex." So I'm like, why would you think that he could help your daughter's career? And man, that's just me.
Because it's a money. That's like how people put their kids off on Michael Jackson, and then when all these accusations came out about Michael Jackson, now how many people sacrifice their kids knowing the true nature of what they was getting their kids into?
Yep.
Dig what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with this shit here too. Maybe not to a higher degree. But come on, man.
There's something to that.
Some of them, the parents, not all of the girls, but the parents that sent their child to see R. Kelly, they got some. Yeah, they blame off on. I'm sorry.
I mean, they're trying to get the kids in the show business now anyway, right? You take a 12-year-old, you say, "Hey, these kids got talent." Most of the time, the kid don't got talent. You're trying to get the kid. The goal is try to make some money and be famous. So when you got an opportunity, you see that buffer there. Man,
it's parents doing that. This parents doing that shit on Instagram right now with their children. See what I'm saying? So like you're sacrificing your kids living through them vicariously. You know what I'm saying? So like, and that's and like I said, that's again, I can't say this enough. I'm not upholding anybody in their wrongdoing, but it's two-sided. It's two-sided, maybe three-sided, because you got his truth, their truth, and the real truth.
And also, the real truth is what we'll never hear, and it's what we'll never hear in many cases. The Michael Jackson case. Now, also, as the brother said earlier about the Me Too movement, all this is coming down, and also on the heels of the Bill Cosby conviction. Maybe they're thinking, hey, if we can get Bill Cosby, maybe we can get R. Kelly finally. That's a possibility too.
Oh, go ahead, Wallace.
I just think that we try to find. Just think that at the end of the day, it's a very sad story. It's a very sad story, regardless of when it was told. I believe that there were people. I believe that everybody does not have the forum to be able to tell their story to this degree. I believe that social media
and that's why. Hold on, that's why I disagree.
Social media has accelerated everything.
I disagree with that because you said people don't have a platform.
Has accelerated everything. I feel like this whole thing, I just feel like it's a very, very sad story all the way around. The parents is terrible. The motherfuckers who work for them are terrible. The record label is terrible for sticking with him. You know what I'm saying? Everybody
and a lot of his fellow artists too.
And it's terrible. And mind you, later on down the line, it wasn't even about my daughter had a chance to get a record deal, this, that, and the third. I mean, I know that was happening, but at some points it was just like this girl's 17 and she wild, and so he's taking her and he's putting her into a fucking sex cult. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I
allegedly, because I ain't never got no invitation to this sex cult to even see what's going on in it. At the end of the, I know that, but what I'm saying is that we can only go by like. It's to the point all this is proven. It's allegedly.
Why are you so hesitant to believe that this is true?
Because let me say this. Let me say this so I can end this on my end. No, and we're not. I'm not upholding it. I don't have a stake in it either because it's not my daughter. But that's not saying I can't be insensitive of what's going on with these young women. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, and everybody can get on this hit parade with this if they want to, but at the end of the day, we've known this a decade or better. All right, exactly. We knew for a decade or better. Now the proverbial microscope is on everything now, but you have to see what is wrapped inside in order to get the full context of it. And that's not belittling. That's not berating or belittling what's happened. Allegedly he's a piece. We're gonna say allegedly he's a piece of shit for it. But again, how it's magnified. Everybody's like you said before. What fake outrage? It's exactly what this shit is. Because you knew this shit when the piss tape came out. You knew this already. But how many people went and bought Chocolate Factory? How many motherfuckers were stepping in the name of love at their weddings? Come on, man. It's a bad ordeal, but hey, I'm not gonna set the man on fire because you got so many other people that can be blamed as well. They have more blame than him. Somebody sacrificed these kids. Let's be real about that part. Nobody's want to put that on them too. Everybody's complicit. Everybody, bro. Everybody's complicit. Every last one of them. From the label to the parents to R. Kelly, the people around R. Kelly, like the dude in the doc who forged the signature for Leah to get married. Everybody has their blame. Everybody has their blame. But what I'm saying is that we knew this a decade plus ago. We knew about Harvey Weinstein decades ago. We knew about all these other people Kevin Spacey decades ago. We knew all the people who had the power to nip this in the bud years ago, decades ago. They never did. They didn't do it.
I agree.
So everybody's complicit.
I mean, is this shit gonna be? Are they gonna be passive about this one too?
bro. You know what? After a while, this shit it's gonna pass too.
I say
people gonna stop. The unfortunate truth is people gonna stop talking about it.
Right,
and then start talking about it.
People gonna start talking about it.
This warrants answers and accountability. This what it warrants. It warrants hearsay. It warrants some stone cold facts and motherfuckers to be held accountable. If it turns out to be that, like Kurt said, there's a lot of people to blame in this, not just R. Kelly. I agree with that 100%. There's a lot of people that enabled this man, and a lot of people that sacrificed their kids. You know, I think it warrants investigation, man. Who's going to take it? You know, I agree.
So somebody has to come forward. Somebody has to come forward and press charges against him, and that's not what's happening.
Yeah, but and that's not going to happen because, like I said, through time and through everything else that has happened, people's stories tend to get convoluted, and so what will be funny, what will be really funny is they make this whole documentary about him. What if this dude got receipts, bro? What if he got receipts from parents that have willingly, you know, and that don't make it no better either. But what if he got receipts like, hey man, listen, I got fucking guardianship papers on this young lady. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What if he started pulling out receipts? Then people gonna be like, oh well, I mean, damn, it's gonna be another changing of the heart or the mindset. Like, well, hey, parents did that to them, but that don't make the beast any less than a beast. It's just that you got some context to it now.
It just show you how complex the issue is, and that's why I say the only thing that you can say is whether or not the accusations are true, whether or not who did what. It's just all very, very fucking sad.
Man, R. Kelly
all very fucking sad.
He would have had it better being a fucking Catholic priest. Shout out to D-Man.
He always been a creep to me, but hey, that's just me.
But you know, but the thing about it is though, man. Matter of fact, I was listening to it's funny. I was watching IG today, and it was this comedian that had like this. He has this thing to where he talks about he unpacks lyrics that people say that how we let them get by with that.
Keon Peele.
Keon Peele, there you go. And he had it was an R. Kelly verse from the 12 Play album. And bro, I've never heard this. And I had 12 Play. I've never heard this verse until today. And I was like, wow. That, you know, it's like it's there. The lyricism, even if you look at Leah's age ain't number to number, the lyricism is there.
Seems like who ready?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
It's there. But you know, it's all there. You know what I'm saying? You can unpack it and like, but damn, you know, he kind of gave you the whole he used his talent
out in front of you.
Right in front of you. It was in plain sight, but nobody caught on to it because man, sometimes that's the power of music, bro. The power of music has the ability to if you're not strong enough in the mind, music will have you doing shit that you probably wouldn't even do.
Damn, you know what though? Guess what? Wasn't the name of the group Public Announcement? Damn.
Yeah.
Big damn.
But you know
his nickname is the Piper.
Piper. And I like I said, I watch Pop. Yeah, Pop. Yeah. My wife was watching this. And you know, like I said, that's fake. That was fake outrage on her part too, because like I said, you knew this shit a decade ago. And that's what I'm saying. Like,
there we go, baby. My bad.
But Digger Hurts, I'm sorry. I just think that the vast majority of people knew that it was an issue. I stopped fucking with R. Kelly too back then. He killed on niggas. It was kind, you know what I'm saying? But
even
I don't think that anybody knew. I don't think that the majority of people who are speaking this outrage, I don't think that they knew they had a face to put with it. They didn't have a face and a story and an issue and a situation and a place to put with all of this. And I think that's why it's so shocking to people. Now, what happens as a result of it, I don't know. But the shit, I mean, to be able to see it is crazy. It's just like Malcolm X, when Malcolm X got shot in the Malcolm X movie. Like, you knew it happened. You knew that it happened, but it still was a shock to the system to see it played out with faces to associate with it, and a place, and a feeling, and an emotion. That's what's fucking with people. Period. Cause that fucked with me. I'm like, shit. I mean, hearing old girls say matter of factly, like, shit. We walked in the tour bus, and they pulled back that curtain, and he was having sex with Aaliyah, and it was just kind of like, oh shit, like.
Damn.
You knew it was a possibility. You knew it probably happened.
But you know why? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by that. He fucking married her, bro. What you think of married? What you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so
here's the thing. But you still didn't see Aaliyah as that when she got older.
Yes, I did.
I didn't see Aaliyah that way.
Yes, I did.
I damn sure did.
I did. I really did. That's what I'm saying. If my thing, and like I said, she could have been coerced, but the whole marriage thing, like you said, to add some context to it, the marriage thing could have been because she was knocked up, and he in his sick twisted mind, he wanted to make it right. So he wanted to make it as right as he can make it. But like I said, it's still crazy. However you look, however you twist, it's still crazy. It's still nonsensical.
Crazy as fuck.
You know what I'm saying? But back then when those claims first came out and it was substantiated that they were actually married. I mean, shit. I don't know about you, but I've been around married people forever, and when people are married, people fuck. Plain and simple.
The ones that don't fucking something else.
Right. Right.
It might be
someone's taking. Someone's giving.
But at first, it's like honeymoon ain't over for at least 15, 20 years.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to confuse you, Wallace, with thinking that I'm in any shape, form, or fashion giving any credence to R. Kelly. That's not what I'm doing.
No, I know. I don't think that.
But what I'm saying is we had to be careful too in unpacking this too, because like I said, now you have the platform, you have the microscope, so to speak, to actually you got people right now that's their sworn that's their like their mission statement now is to unearth these things and bring attention to things like this. And that's not a bad thing. That's not bad in my eyesight at all. But a lot of people have axe to grind within this framework of it. It's people that's doing the good fighting the good fight, but it's also people in this scene that got an axe to grind too. You know what I'm saying?
As in everything.
Right.
As in everything.
Yeah, you look at this whole Bill Cosby shit, and yeah, shit. Anytime you got a drug abroad to get sex, it ain't worth it no way. But if you look at everything that Bill Cosby was trying to accomplish, it's convoluted as hell. But that's not trying to cast aspersions, or that's not trying to make light of what he did. But what if he wasn't trying to buy NBC? What if he wasn't trying to buy a network where he can do this and do that?
You never hear shit about it.
Nothing about it.
What was the first time we heard about the Bill Cosby shit? A couple years ago?
They need to be held accountable.
About 2 years ago. Maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. Maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was about 2 years.
About 2 years ago, right?
30-some years. Yep. We didn't heard of people.
Before then, it was speculation.
Mm-hmm. But people have been charged are being brought to justice for less. So, like I said, a lot of it, I'm not saying it's with the R. Kelly shit, but I'm just saying with the Bill Cosby shit is that somebody had an axe to grind in that situation, and it's a lot of people, like I said, fight the good fight for this whole R. Kelly shit. But it's a lot of people around that's got an axe to grind.
Yep.
So we got to be careful on how don't lose sight of the evil shit that he did or has alleged to do with most of these people, most of these young ladies.
But here's the thing, though, Digger Hurts. There are people in society that try to take advantage of situations.
Every day.
Will we allow that? Will you allow that to take away from when there really is an issue? Like we fundamentally distrust information and we fundamentally distrust each other. Mm-hmm. Society is supposed to be built around shared agreements. Shared agreements. Like if I'm not home, you get the newspaper off my porch so nobody will think that I'm not here. If the stoplight go out at the end of the block, I'm still gonna stop and look around to see before somebody's coming. Those shared agreements have broken down. Like if somebody makes these accusations about somebody, we automatically make it we automatically become skeptical because we've seen people take advantage of situations like this.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I just, for me, again, the whole it's just a very sad situation. It just makes me very sad, and it makes me feel like this whole thing is an exposure of that. The dynamic that you see happening between, you have somebody raised something interesting online. They said, you know, when black folks a couple years ago kind of said, okay, we're not going to watch the NFL because of the Colin Kaepernick shit.
David Banner said that.
This person said the same people that probably continue to watch the NFL just to not be like the rest of those people are some of the same people that saying, oh, I fuck with R. Kelly. I still listen to his music. I'm listening to his music. Because there are people who are so distrustful of why certain things happen that they go against things just because. Now, that's your personal opinion. You can do whatever you want to do. But I think this whole thing is an exposure of how people choose what to support. You understand what I'm saying? I don't necessarily. I'm sure that there's a female that's out there that was involved in this whole situation. I give you a perfect example. Sparkle put a new single out today.
Oh damn! Word.
And she hadn't put a single out in forever. There are people who stand to profit from everything, but the truth of the matter is, I mean, we're bartering attention. We're bartering attention, but we're not bartering music or fashion or this, that, and the third. We barter attention. So she used that attention to do that. There's people that take advantage of everything, but at the same time, it don't take away from the fact that this dude was raping kids, dog. He was.
Listen to
that. So if we hadn't talked about it, just because we hadn't talked about it, I think it's because we didn't have all the information that
we didn't talk about it because we didn't give a shit about it. Let's be real. We didn't talk about it because we didn't give a shit about it until it became. We didn't
talk about it because we don't care about things that's not in your face.
Yeah, I would say more out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. We didn't. Nobody gave a shit about it until now. A year ago we wasn't talking about. Hey man, you know what's fucked up, man? It's fucked up that R. Kelly been fucking married. Nobody was like.
But R. Kelly was out. He was already the fuck out of there. To us,
but
he was already. We already had got him the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this. We put him the fuck out of there when he peed on the chick. A lot of people did. A lot of people put him the fuck out when him and Jake. I'm saying it went through like tears. One thing recently that made people put him the fuck out was when there was this conversation about this sex cult. You could see the girl talking on TV, and you see somebody in the reflection on her, like telling her not to say nothing. That's another tier to it. But being able to we've never been confronted with all of these stories, all of these tales within 6 hours, saying this is what happened to me. These are things that were going on. This is what I can remember, and that's why it's causing a level of outrage. He was already the fuck out of there. Period. This nigga still going overseas telling young chicks, have you got your shots? You know what I'm saying? That shit is crazy.
Did you hear his brother?
That nigga, oh my God, that's a super scumbag.
I understand what you're saying, Digger Hurst. I understand that there's people that take advantage of situations like this for press, for media, for ratings, to make money, you know, to further an agenda that makes black men look terrible or black people look terrible, or make this person undermine this person's ability to spend their money how they want to spend it. But at the end of the day, I'm saying if this shit is true, this is sad as fuck. It's sad as fuck that so many people allowed this nigga to do this.
Hey, what's even more sad is that his fucking sales have shot the fuck up.
I mean, it's attention.
Yeah,
I heard that it was.
I can tell you, I've been pretty much consistent on the shit that I don't support. Then that shit happened, and I remember I don't know how my partner got his hands on that tape, but he got his hands on that tape, and this is 2000 and something.
I never saw it.
I've seen it, and that, you know, then my support for R. Kelly has nosedived into the abyss. But I'm the same person who ain't watch a NFL game and Lord win.
Right.
I'm the same nigga who still haven't listened to nothing that Kanye has dropped in the last couple of years.
Right.
So I'm pretty consistent.
True. So when her stop fucking with you,
I'm done.
Right.
So if I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. Plain and simple, because that's the cloth I'm cut from. But I can tell you this, like you said, everything that you're saying, you're 100% spot on with it. All I'm saying is, if we gonna be outraged, let's be consistent with our outrage.
I agree.
Because if anybody is, let's not be bandwagoners, being wrapped up in the moment or the movement. You know, like I said, all of us on here, you know, like you said, we all are connected through the fact that we have not only if we don't have daughters, we have nieces, we have aunts and sisters or whatever. So it's in that frame of mind, we all can relate to how we would feel if that was one of our family members. If that was my daughter, I can tell you right now, brother, I probably wouldn't even make bond.
Come on.
I probably wouldn't even make bond. But in the same breath, though, I'm never going to put my daughter in a situation to where that's a way out for her, or that's something she thinks she might want to do. Because I can tell you off top, as talented as I think my daughter is, and ready, she's not ready for the evils of what the business entails. You know what I'm saying? I don't want her to have this fixated and false reality of what it is out here. You got talent and you got the business part of it. Mm-hmm. And the business part of it will eat you alive. If nobody preps you for it, if you don't look for the downfall. There's people that a lot of us have dreams. A lot of us had those dreams to make it and be signed. I know forever. That was my mindset growing up. Like, man, I'm gonna get signed. I want to do this. I want to do that. But when you start getting knowledge about certain things that entail that, you're like, you know what? I don't think I want to do that. I don't think I want to sell my soul just so I can say I did this or I'm doing that. Like, nah. And anytime a parent willfully put their child in harm's way in order for a payday, for notoriety, for whatever the case may be, a 12-year-old can't fucking tell me what they're gonna do in my house. A 13-year-old, matter of fact, an 18-year-old can't tell me what they're gonna do when I'm taking care of them.
Goddamn right.
You know what I'm saying? So like my son just turned 21 a couple weeks ago, and it's still yes sir, all that shit up in here because that's the precedent I set here. So if a 14-year-old think they're gonna tell me what I'm gonna go run off and I'm gonna be a part of art, you go right ahead. But don't you look back this motherfucking way when all the motherfucking bricks fall on your head, because I've taught you and I've given you structure. And my job as a parent, first and foremost, is your safety and your well-being. That's my most important job, and I don't get paid for it. But my pay comes about when that child is successful in life, doing what they want to do in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, going out to school and getting a degree and working in their field and being a contributing part of society. That's my reward. That's my pay.
I don't mean to cut you off, but you know what scares me, man? Like, we're talking, we've had numerous conversations about our kids. I can't count countless. We love our kids, man. We would do anything for them. They drive us to be better men. You know what I'm saying?
No question.
So I can't see. I couldn't, like, someone would just pimp their kid out, like, and I don't have any hardcore proof, but it sounds like that this was the case. Like, shit so recklessly with things going on in the world, even back then in the early 90s, where you know what I mean, put your kid in harm. You did that.
You got to realize something, bro.
Build it out a little bit.
But you got to realize something, man. Motherfuckers and everybody that cut from the same cloth.
No doubt.
Motherfuckers really don't. There's a lot of people that just really don't give a fuck if they pimp their kids out at the drop of a motherfucking dime.
Yep.
And but Wallace, brother, I am in full agreement with you. Everything that you said, I look, I'm checking all the boxes with everything you're saying. And you know, I'm not disagreeing with nothing that you said, but you know, I want people to be this. I want people to next 2-3 weeks. I want people to still be outraged.
Keep
I'll
that
still want
same
people.
energy. I agree. I agree.
I still want people. I don't want it to be us caught up in a moment of. It's kind of like what the Kanye shit. Nobody talking about Kanye no more about the whole slavery of the choice shit no more. It's here and it's gone now. But
and the thing about it is they put shit in our face to keep us distracted on to the next shit.
But I think the thing with Kanye is you're absolutely right. I mean, it's news. We think the same way the news cycles run. You know what I'm saying? So when something ain't news no more, we finding something else to talk about. 2 weeks ago, everybody was talking about blind box, right?
Bird box.
You know, bird box, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Same shit.
Something that people, dude, they said the shit came out on the 21st on a Friday, right? Mm-hmm. They said by Christmas Day, 45 million accounts had seen that shit. And it was mostly because of the online discussion. My whole thinking is this. We have to kind of take these little moments, like this R. Kelly shit, and we have to take it and look at it in the broader context of human activity. Like, what does this really say about, I mean, when you dig deeper than what R. Kelly was doing with the girls, this, that, and the third, and you start to focus around those parents that may have necessarily granted him a certain level of access that was unsafe, what does that say about people who, I could say black people, I could say people who live in poverty? What does it say about their relationship with celebrity? Like their understanding of celebrity.
You said
celebrity the new religion.
You touched on that Friday. You said
you know what I'm saying?
People that are normally impoverished have this I won't say lineage, but it has this connection or this dire thirst for notoriety and fame, things of that nature.
Yes.
But you know who's not on trial here? Who's not on trial here and featured in these documentaries are the mothers, the fathers who allowed this to go. And they're gonna be even if they had a camera in their face, they're gonna be even guilty. You know what I'm saying?
And I'll continue to say also the labels, man.
Oh yeah, no
RCA.
question.
Also RCA is not under Jive RCA is not under any scrutiny whatsoever.
Right.
You know, anybody else who knew. But I guess
because as a label, man, as a label, RCA Jive, well, RCA is the parent company. RCA they have enough power. They have some of the most powerful attorneys on their payroll. So you mean tell me you couldn't get when this shit first surfaced? You mean tell me you couldn't get somebody? You couldn't get a private eye out there to get get more intel on this situation? Because they could have dropped this dude right at TP2 time.
But the question becomes, why would they? To be honest, they could have did it to save face, but he was still a very profitable entity.
They're making them money. They're making them money, and whoever owned his publishing benefited as well because he don't own his publishing.
Damn sure don't.
Who's to say that RCA did not provide him with the legal support that got him off? Who's to say that?
You know what? There you go.
You know?
There you go.
There's a lot of who's to say with this shit.
A lot of people helping him.
What I was saying about celebrity, though, you got to keep in mind that, and I hate to say this, but I'm a focus around black people. Keeping it completely 100.
But before you do that, though, I don't think it's just black people because
let me finish my statement and then you can tell me whether or not you agree. I think that too often we have a messiah complex. Like there's a belief that somebody is coming to save us. Like R. Kelly to some of these parents may have been like, oh, R. Kelly may come and save all of our, we may be able to get rich. They could save our family. We could, if such and such get this record deal, everybody would be saved. You know what I'm saying? And we look at individuals as though they have the power to save our souls, when in actuality, salvation is from within to a large degree.
Man, you hit it right. I was about to say that it's all rooted in indoctrination. When you're indoctrinated that way, that's your outlook. So and that's not if you believe in what you believe in. But when you've been indoctrinated to believe that somebody's coming to save you, and you don't have the wherewithal to go save yourself, you're almost a slave. No, fuck that. Scratch that. You are a slave.
That's the same. Hey, I can't agree with that more. I've been yelling that for the longest time, man. It's just too many. I agree with that, man. And this kind of got something. I always say people. I hate when impoverished people use things for an excuse instead of just going out and getting it. And on that token, I also wanted to say that money doesn't. You gotta look at yourself in the mirror. So as far as selling your family out and kids and shit like that shit is. I'd rather be broke than to fucking to sacrifice my kids. So shit, supposedly like that.
And listen, keeping it all the way 100, shit, it ain't just quote unquote poor people. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of it's the majority of us thinking that somebody is gonna come save us.
But fame is the new religion.
Or Lil Darius gonna go to the league. Or you know what I'm saying? It's a lot. Don't get me wrong. And I think that it was smart of the powers that be to make people believe that they not poor. You know what I'm saying? Truth be told, because then we always got somebody to look at like, oh, we better than them. You know what I'm saying? When in actuality, I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't have shit. I don't have shit in comparison to some of these people I live around. I don't have shit. And I'm thinking like, how can I sit up and talk about somebody that live on 7 Mile and Evergreen when you know what I'm saying? If worse come to worse, I'll be right there with them or worse. You know what I mean? Right. So let me not do that either. Let me not speak. I'm saying that people in general have a fucking messiah complex.
Man, it's like always just raised to be a hustler, man. I was raised to
bit the pepper.
Hell yeah.
I was raised to survive, bro. To survive.
Shoveling the sidewalk.
I've been up, I've been down. I was raised to survive, man. I was raised to know if I ever, I'm always gonna be counted out. I'm always gonna be stereotyped most of the time when I get a job until I have to prove myself to like, no, I'm not lazy. I'm punctual. I'm just saying, man, it's like we always have this car stacked up against us. So you gotta break that barrier. You gotta go over that obstacles, man. You got to move differently from other people. That's different from us, man. We got that's what makes us strong, man. That's what makes our soul strong, man. Like we're strong people, man. And a lot of people that possess that trait, they don't channel that inner. They don't challenge it, but it's in them, man. I hate when people just lay down and quit. Time's not always gonna be easy for you, and shit's not always gonna be handed to you on a silver platter. You gotta impatience has always been our weakness. We want shit now. You gotta be patient. You always gotta be on your square, man. You always gotta have your blinders on. You have an extra eye, have that in the back of your head. There's always people trying to take you off and knock you off your throne, man. Knock you off the square. You always got it, man. You can't take shit for face value. You know what I mean? You can't make a sudden decision. There's a lot of things that's involved in how we move, man. We always got it's a hustle, it's a grind. Persistence, there you go.
That's true, and I think what Diggerhurst is saying is extremely true in terms of there being a cycle when these pop culture things happen. Or these things happen in the news, and it's a cycle that happens where there's an event, there's outrage, there's a splitting between people who look at the outrage as being a bigger expose about society and people's attitudes. There are people who disagree with it, and then people make decisions about other people based on their opinions from it. And then another event happens. You know what I'm saying? Because when this first came out, it was a shock to the system on Thursday. And mind you, we only talking about Thursday.
Yeah. Right.
Today is Sunday. We only talking about Thursday. So when this shit first came out, it was like, oh my God, this nigga's a scumbag. Jesus Christ. And then tonight, the last 24 hours, you have more and more people coming forth saying, well, what about this? What about that? What about this? This, or disagreeing. And it's people that's, I'm blocking anybody. They saying, I'm going to block anybody that disagree. So it just creates further division, and then something else is gonna happen. Because I'm gonna tell y'all, they better get this government shutdown shit together, because if them GA checks don't drop on February 1st,
gonna be another
this bitch
shit.
gonna turn into Babylon, nigga.
Hey, the food stamp shit. I was reading the food stamp
That's
shit.
what
They
I'm
got $3 billion in
saying.
reserve right now, but that $3 billion is about to get ate up, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Average is $4.8 billion a month. So that $3 billion is going to be about three quarters of a month. They better get together.
Mm-hmm.
22 million Americans on food stamps.
Right. And the vast majority don't look like nothing. Let me shut up.
Oh yeah, I'll say it. In the vast majority of it, they ain't black people.
Yeah.
So that's where the outrage gonna come from.
But they would make it seem as though
no.
Some would make it seem that way.
Yeah, but what you have, but the truth of the matter is, you have more white people that's on welfare and food stamps than we're just the face of it. We're the spokesman of it. because the adage is that we all, like you said earlier, that we always need saving. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing about it is that when black people are outraged about food stamps, it's not a big deal. You let these white folks go without getting food stamps and getting they supplement stuff. Shit, you talking about all hell gonna break loose? Shit, hell won't even have a bottom when all this shit is done.
Yeah. So you got the government shutdown, and then if the stock market goes through another difficult time in the face of the government shutdown, then you really gonna have a fucking problem.
Hey, I'm trying to get to Canada as quick as I can.
I was over there the other day. It ain't too bad. They did stop us at the border though. Hey, so newsflash.
They should have.
We'll talk about it after dark.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah, we got stopped on the way over there. They stopped and pulled everything out the car on the way over there.
Damn.
Like I told them it was my first time over there. Like it was literally my first time over there since middle school. And
damn.
They was like, yeah, you got to pull this bitch over. They was like, why you going over there? You going over there? I was like, oh, I'm just going to a couple record stores. And they was like, records? What kind of records? I'm like, vinyl records, motherfucker. Like, what you think? Oh, records that play music? That's all you going over there for? Yeah, that's all I'm going over there for, and then I'm coming right back. This shit.
Music,
Right. Nigga, this shit is literally across the river from where I stay. Like, Canada is like literally 10 minutes, like not once you cross the bridge, I mean, it's literally like 7 minutes from the United States, if that, not even that far. So it's like, I'm like, yeah, I'm going over there and I'm coming right back. And then so I'm on my way over there, and they was like, yeah, we're gonna have to pull your shit out the car. You know what I'm saying? You got any knives and shit? I'm like, nah, I ain't got no knives. They was like, And then my man closed the window for a long time, and then came back like, yeah, we're gonna have to go through your shit. I was like, is it my beard?
Professor, hold on. I got a question.
Most definitely your beard.
I got a question, Ed.
How'd you get your beard so luscious, Ed?
Right.
Juices the bears, motherfucker.
Right.
Beep. Right. But yeah, that's crazy though. But I mean, we're talking about national security there, man. Your beard could actually got a bazooka in there, man. National security.
Hell yeah. Goofy motherfuckers.
Yeah, right.
Trump said that they nabbed 10 terrorists this year trying to go over the border.
Bro, hold up. Whatever, man. I'll leave this alone. I'm sick of talking about politics.
Hate Trump.
How many terrorists?
Man, for a long
bigger question is, how many terrorists do you have that sit in your House of Representatives and your Senate and your president? So
shots fired.
You know what I'm saying?
How many live in your neighborhood?
It's right. It's a you know what it is when I hear that word from people, especially from white people. It's always wrapped in color to me, because people never point out the white terrorists that are domestic terrorists that are here on this soil, that are purebred white people that have bombed the Oklahoma City bombers. I mean, the list goes forever, but nobody ever speaks about these people in terms of their terrorist acts that they did on American soil. Now they've met their doom, but you know when people think about terrorists, it's always wrapped in color. whether you brown from you're Arab and you brown, whether you brown and you're Mexican, or whether you black and you live in this country. So there, I said it. Sue me.
Hey, you said motherfucker, a lot of people want to say, man. I agree with that, man. You don't hear any coverage about that though.
But that's just the time, and you know it's been going on forever. But it's like it's getting to the point where we just got to start talking about shit and do some shit. You know, if that's in you, because it's no surprise that I always tell people, you know, even when Obama was in office, Obama never really did nothing for people of color, but it was asinine and ignorant for people to even believe that was going to happen in the first place. I told my dad when he got inaugurated, I was like, man, look, the best thing you can do for your life is do what you've been doing and change what you can change within the framework of your community.
Cold as fuck.
It wasn't like inmates are running the building now, you know.
Right, you know what I'm saying? It's never gonna be that, because it's never gonna be that. So I was like, you know, my thing is I gotta still get up and go to work in the morning. And in the time he was in office, people of color probably faced more persecution and racist acts than any other time that I can remember being a kid, since being a kid rather.
But then again, you got to keep in mind that Obama came to power during the birth of social media too.
Indeed.
So you can never discount how powerful social media has become and its ability to influence people.
But you know what was crazy? I bet I was
and inform people about every little nuance and thing that's going on.
You ain't even got to watch the news. See, and before long, the news stations, all these news stations, they gonna succumb to this social media shit, because people ain't getting it. Most stuff that I found out is if I'm glancing through IG, maybe Facebook. Like, as far as the news is concerned, I can't tell you what's going on in the news except for the weather. That's all I be checking for, because everything else has a bias to it. So and shit, you know, everything else has a bias to it, and so I'm like, I don't need that. You know what I'm saying?
I know that if I go on Facebook, you're gonna see your kooky stories about certain things that people put up, but I know I'm gonna see news about sports, stuff that's going on around me, music, and education, and other just quirky shit. That's what I know I'm gonna see on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Anything major that happens, they're going to social media and reporting what's on social media
first before even it's going there first.
Exactly.
People are breaking. You know, I remember you wouldn't even hear about a trade, bro, unless you had ESPN or something when we were kids.
It's instant access. Motherfuckers holding their phone before they be turning on the TV to watch the news. So they put that shit on Twitter, or they put it on Instagram.
You know
or
how
Facebook.
I found out about the Warriors and the Kings with the 3-point shit last night. Twitter.
Yeah, they post immediately, like they're at the game posting shit.
Right.
Yeah, but like you said, like instant gratification, and the fact that everybody has a phone nowadays, and everything is like pretty. But you ain't got to wait. You know, I remember we used to watch basketball on TV, and it was a simulcast. You know what I'm saying? Like now, shit, you're still in real time with the broadcast, but even before the broadcast, even during the broadcast, you got news within the news within the broadcast. Crazy shit.
I thought you was talking about when Steph Curry made my man come sit on the reading carpet.
Bruh, listen. I saw that shit. I was like, God damn, he needed. Who was his shoe endorser? Because they ain't put no grip on the bottom of them shoes.
I don't think he got one.
They gave that joker some rollerblades.
We are talking about
with side wheels.
Dude, they got broke off by Steph on a jab step.
Came out of soles too.
Yeah, he did.
Nigga had some big baller brand shoes.
Yo, he had them motherfucking slip-on joints where when women's feet hurt, they take their pumps off. He put a pair of them bitches on.
That nigga put some kitty heels on though.
Man, he had on some racing slicks out there.
Nigga had the motherfucking NASCAR boots. Hit road show.
Hey, look, hey, brothers on Facebook. What he was saying. when something happened on Facebook, when Trump would have a press conference, that's the first thing that would pop up on my timeline on CNN.
Hey,
matter
of fact, if you guys on YouTube, whenever you log into YouTube, like this morning I logged into YouTube. Well, I just hit the button on my screen, it just popped up. But the first thing I saw was this ad. And I always thought that YouTube was kind of bipartisan. I don't know if I'm using that in the right context, but it's just about money. If people pay money to get something shown, the money is the politics. But anyhow, they had this thing about had like this survey or this number you can text, and if you're a supporter of the wall, I was like, wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Good thing I got YouTube Red, man. Cause shit, I don't want to see that fucking ad.
Yeah, that's the first thing I saw. I was like, God, I said, they got really with the bullshit today. I said,
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna say this. I think it's gonna be more difficult because, history is gonna be chronicled differently because of how much data is being created. But when it comes time to tell this story in history, how is this story gonna be told? Where this dude came out and campaigned and said, "We're gonna make Mexico build the wall," and then shut down the government because the government chose not to build the wall. He said Mexico was gonna build.
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
They were so ignorant about this.
Anybody who voted for this guy, it just blows my mind, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
You know what it is though.
Shit don't surprise me.
The people
it don't for me no more.
No, doesn't surprise me to that point because you have to understand who put him in there.
Yeah, I'm like the simple fact that he's in here.
You got more people.
That's what I'm tripping off though. I'm not tripping off the shit he do. I'm tripping off the fact that he's dead, and you went that far to make sure other people was not there.
Oh yeah,
other ideas was not there.
And that shit backfiring like shit on him.
It's been past due time for impeachment on him because this is ridiculous. You can't shut down our government just to build some damn wall. A wall that really nobody wants. Because to me that wall represents a new level of racism.
But to that degree though, if you gotta build a wall, you gotta build a wall from Maine all the way across the Canadian border to the west. From Washington all the way back down to Baja, California, back across the Southwest, going to the South, around Florida. So that's the thing is, you only building one quarter of a wall to keep quote unquote terrorists out.
It's just a representation. It ain't really gonna do shit. It ain't gonna stop motherfuckers from doing what they, like you're saying with terrorists. I mean, that shit's all over. You got to enclose the whole United States.
You got to put a ban on everybody trying to get in this motherfucker.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. Most of the people that America has been in bed with a lot of these Middle Eastern countries for decades. I'll say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody that you see that's RIP right now. At one point in time, they was in bed with them. So. You
got that right.
You know what I'm saying? So like what happened when y'all relationship is reaching stalemate? Get rid of it. It's so much that I can say, but I'm gonna bow out gracefully. But like I said, that whole term that whole term to me is racial terrorist. The thing about it is like when I think about this. People didn't have a problem with Mexican Americans living in America, killing each other in America. None of that stuff. But you know what it is? When a certain demographic can't get what they want, they're gonna blame somebody that's lower on the totem pole socially.
It's old white men.
No.
They had a problem with it. They had a problem with it, especially down there.
No, hear me out. I was at work one day, and there was a guy. It was a contractor, a roofer, and he was talking about how his business has been on the decline, and he ended up saying something like to the degree that the Mexicans was running him out of business so well because they charge so less to do. And I was thinking, and it made me think like they was working for you, you was fine. When they they learn the game and they know how their skill, their business that they want to do. You know, now it's a problem. Man, a Mexican brother did my roof. He did my roof and my fence when I had we had a bad winters ago, and he did my roof and my fence for a third of what these other contractors were talking about doing. And like you said earlier, Wallace, what you gonna do when somebody charging you 10 grand to do all this shit, and then somebody come along and say, man, I'll charge you 5 or 4.
Nigga,
you're gonna go. Then on top of that, dude, the work that this one dude, no bullshit. This one dude did my roof. One dude did the roof and the fence. One dude, and I think the job took him about 3 days. The man showed up at my house, bro, before I went to work, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Right. When I came home from work, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, he was wrapping up whatever work he had to do for the day. And I'll admit his English ain't the best, but I understand. My wife understands him.
But that other dude's gonna milk it for everything he's got.
Exactly. And so my thing is a lot of it is that, you know, nobody that I know likes to work restaurant jobs. Nobody I know likes to work landscaping jobs. Nobody likes to work in the hotel industry. Nobody likes to do those things. But as soon as somebody enterprises and makes a living off of it to where they're their own boss, now the problem ensues. They're coming and taking all the jobs. Yeah, they're taking all the jobs that your sorry ass didn't want. Plain and simple. Exactly. And that go for white people and black people too. Same thing. People. It's amazing to me how people look at that. It's crazy to me. It's really crazy because these are jobs nobody wants. But when these people get to enterprising, and one thing that I love about Mexican culture, which used to be black culture before everything, is their sense of togetherness. They'll work toward their goal. It could be 6 of them living in a 3-bedroom apartment. They pull all their resources together and they make whatever dream they got, they make it become a reality because they pour into each other's situation. That's a beautiful thing to me.
So when I was in Mexico last December, we ran into some really educated people in Mexico, people that could speak 5 languages and people that had, master's degrees and all this stuff. And this is in Mexico. And the best that they could do was being a tour guide for an ATV company. So they've been educated in Mexico, but there's no work. There's literally people that can speak 5 languages, and the best they can do over there is to be a tour guide.
Yeah, so you have to go where the work is. You know what I'm saying?
So you gotta go where the work is.
Go where the work is. This is like, I have a cousin that she has a bachelor's or a master's degree, and I can't remember what her degree is, but she has never worked a day in her field because where she lives at, there are no jobs to facilitate her degree. So she does what she works at a pharmacy, not a pharmacy, a pharmaceutical plant. Make decent money, but she went to school for 4 years or 6 years to get her degree in something that she wanted to make a living in, and she's never used her degree. So that's a waste.
Cats I see winning are the ones that go specialized trade schools, man, for specific jobs, and that way you can go with the demand. Truck driving, welding, HVAC, specialized shit like that, man.
There you go. I was talking to a live sound engineer because I want to eventually move into that area. I've been trained a little bit in doing it, but I really want to learn it. And he said the number one thing you got to learn how to do is you got to learn how to solder. And I get to myself like, wow, how valuable right now for me would it be for me to learn electrician skills, for me to learn coding skills, programming skills, framework of what I'm doing academically, to be able to really be able to do something when it comes to music technology. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So having those skills is valuable. If I had electrician skills at fucking 17, I might be in a different situation right now.
You probably wouldn't, but you at least you'll know how to do that shit. So you'll have multiple streams of income coming in, because you'll do something ingenuity wise with that. You'll be using it, but you probably like, you know what, I could do this right here. Then if I need to do this, I can do this right here too.
Right.
I'm a
That's
welder.
they killed schools when they took out Votech. I remember when I was in high school, we each semester you chose a class like carpentry, masonry. I think they had graphic design back then, some type of videograph, something back then with that, and it was electrical. And then you went your first year, you went through all the ones, you went through each one to see what you wanted to finish in, like, and I did brick masonry. So
man, you know how many beauticians I know from my high school, bro, that went to Votech that are still out here, doing hair. Girls show up at lunchtime with that mannequin heads, bro. Like, no lie, man. That the importance of vocational school and trade schools and stuff. My dad always says this, like, to this day, because he always talks about my cousin. He was like, man, ain't no way in the world I'm gonna send my child to a 4-year school to go get neck deep in debt and student loans, only to come home with a degree that they're never going to use, because those jobs are not offered in the community in which they're trying to pour back into.
Yeah, especially if you're not paying off your loans with it. Right.
So what's wrong with sending my child to a trade school? What's wrong with sending my I told my daughter, you're gonna have to have more than one iron in the fire. You want to do this, but you need to be trying to think about multiple things that you can do, just in case something else don't work.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, like back in 2006, I worked at a I heard Widebody talking about steel mills and stuff. When I lived in Stilton, Pennsylvania, that's like right outside of Harrisburg. Bethlehem Steel was there.
Yeah, that's what I was mean. The Bethlehem Steel, not Holmesdale, but yeah, Bethlehem Steel.
They had a huge, huh?
So Bethlehem Steel was a big employer.
Yeah, they was huge. Like when we moved to Stilton, like it was still jumping. So we moved there in '89. It was still jumping, and then they closed down, and the building sat dormant for like 20 years. And then a company called Mattel or Mattel, they came and bought half of it, and another company bought the other half. But when I was there in 2006, I was working there through a temp agency. They had welders there from like Texas, and the welders were like, "Yeah, we go all over the country because like there's a shortage of welders." And it just reminded me of like those tech schools and all, like Votech and all of that. Like when they took that out the schools, like that killed your labor for that.
I'm a welder by trade.
So it's a shortage of everything.
I went to school for that shit, man. I mean, I can get a welding job.
They took everything out of school that people of color, not just black people, Latinos, whoever. They took those out of schools because that actually empowered people to be their own people, their own bosses.
People are making a good living and doing their own businesses with that shit.
But they had to take that out of the equation. Just like with music, they took music out of schools for God knows what reason. That's probably one of the dumbest reasons I've ever heard of to date. Why they took why they taking a lot of these programs that enrich the lives of people. Like
what's the reason why? Because I don't know. Like,
I can't remember off top, but I know my high school still has a music
budget cuts.
I mean, for us it was more that we couldn't afford it, but money was going in a dumbass place when it could have been going to schools. But
the money was going into football. Anything that could make them money in terms of the big draw. The big draw is probably going to be football. But guess what? You need a band to play. Shit, if your team is good, you want a band to play while you out there handling the business or whatever.
My daughter doesn't even have gym class.
Hey, you know what?
Hold on, you mean like PE or just straight up like
PE?
Oh, that's weird. That's weird.
No, it's not weird because I was one of my good friends. He lives in Dallas, and his girlfriend's daughter. She's like
got no fucking PE. What the fuck?
She's what do you call?
That's why motherfuckers.
She's a manager.
I'm like, damn. That was like that wasn't even an elective. You had to pass.
That's the only way.
Motherfuckers was slovenly out this bitch.
I got 4 credits in my whole high school career.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but she's a manager, and I was asking him like why doesn't she do that during school? He was like, well, they don't offer that. They don't offer gym in that at that school. I said, wait a minute. So she got to get her credit after school? I said, wait a minute. How does that work?
That don't make no fucking sense.
Man, he told me this, and I was like, man, I said, you remember when we used to I said, why she didn't do it during school? He said, because they don't offer that shit in school anymore. Right. See, they don't offer it in school anymore, so she has to go after school to do whatever they need to do. They had to do it after school because they don't have a class for it. But I said that's some weird shit. But
it is weird because all they got to do is just let them run around and shit.
Just regular fucking exercise.
Yeah, it might be the only shit.
It's not like, I mean, if it's an older school or whatnot, it already got a damn gym in there. I mean, a fucking a gym on the basketball court or whatever. I mean, even if you don't have that, y'all can do the shit outside.
Go shovel snow.
I mean, even if it's shovel snow.
And people wonder. People wonder why
out that class and ain't shoveling no damn snow.
People wonder why we in the world, man. We're like to be one of the quote unquote most powerful countries in the world. Yeah. We are subpar when it comes to a lot of shit. We're number one in violence.
Oh, that's for damn sure.
But we're subpar when it comes to education, technology. We're nowhere.
The term would be agriculture. It's just food in general because our food shit is awful. I don't want to get back into food, but
that's agriculture. That's agricultural. Yes, but that's because of the anytime the government put their hand on some shit, they fuck it up. Because there's if you rely on all these other places for your food, when you have people who are farmers that you are suppressing because of regulations or contracts you got with other people and all that good shit, that's wasteful.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. We ain't got enough time to talk about all this bullshit, but it's crazy.
Yeah. Me and my wife was just talking about this shit. She's doing her research on why shit is here, and we got all these regulations. You got to do this. You got to do this with especially store-bought brands and all this shit. But you go to another country and these people sit and eat blood sausage all day, and everyone's still healthy as shit.
Oh, it's crazy out there. It's crazy out there.
I'm just saying, the people are just eating shit that we would eat here, but it fucks us up and it doesn't to them. There's a lot of places. There's places that people that's obese and whatnot, but it's way more here.
There is not one obese person in Cambodia. I know it may sound funny, but it's the human relations factor in America. It's got to be the worst in the world. One of the worst in the world. I mean, I know that there's other countries that politicize and take part of their community out, but we suck. We have all the rights in the world, and people are just terrible to each other. You go to outside the United States. I know a lot of you guys have been military, and anywhere you go outside the U.S., people are just, it's different. They're friendly. It's like people have been, I don't know. I don't know if it's just the way we've all been raised just to take advantage of each other or what, but it's
every
different
man for himself. Every man for himself most of the time, really, man. I'm first, I'm not saying it's sad, but it's a sad reality, man. It's all every man for himself. Fuck the next man. As long as I'm good, as long as I'm straight, as long as my family's straight.
Fuck by your bootstraps.
Yep. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and end this. It's lagging over time now. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. I think we had a real good conversation tonight, man. I really did, man. Thanks everyone for participating tonight. Without further ado, man, let's close this son of a bitch. Let's close it out. Like to thank Black Math, Def Dunlap, Digger Hertz, I Will Make Beats, Malik X, Rich Gifted Hands, Mr. Wallace, RTO Beats, That Blessed Girl. Thank you very much for tuning in to Talk That 197. Also in the chat, D-Man Q, thanks for participating tonight, my brother. Gotta get you on the panel one day. Mom, thank you. DJ Rec, thank you. Donald Trump, you know where to stick it. Also, be sure to check out Black Thought Podcast with Brother Ani and myself, DJ Widebody. Also, Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please be sure to check out the Scratch Magazine Producer Hangout. Also, please do not forget Bandcamp, Dirty Old Men. Fucking starring the Dirty Old Men. Go ahead and cop that. That should be out on your music outlets soon enough. Also, some more projects. We got the Mavs, the year in review. That's Bandcamp, Black Mav. Check it out on Bandcamp. Dope project. He compiles everything that he's done mostly throughout the year, and he puts it on a project. It's hella dope. Also, a couple of bonus tracks, unheard tracks on there as well. Cool. If I'm missing somebody, check out the Sand Poetry on Sand Poetry on SoundCloud as well. Big Stacks. Never Favored, that's a little old. And just look out for future projects. We got the Wide Body's Theory of Evolution coming on Late Pass Music. Check that out. Also got Head Nod Music, you know what I mean? With the boy DJ Wide Body and Northeast Beast. Check that out too. That's coming soon. And a lot of other stuff, man. We got the I forgot the name, man. But yo, a lot of stuff in store, man. Look out for a lot of work going on. Pedal to the Metal 2019. If everybody can come out to mute and say peace on 3, I gladly appreciate that. 1, 2, 3. Peace.
Peace.
You're a philosopher? You're a philosopher? You're a philosopher?
Man, what is it?
You're a philosopher? You're a philosopher?
Peace.